It is my pleasure now to introduce our first grantee, Tikkun Olam makers. We are inviting Lauren and Teddy out, who will be representing Tikkun Olam makers. I want to let you guys know how this is going to work. We're going to bring out a few judges to speak with each grantee. They'll be coming on and off the stage. And we're going to work with technology, and it's going to be great. But I wanted you guys to be ready for that. I want to bring out Lior as well, and Monica and Renee. We'll be ready to get this party started. All right, everyone's taken to the stage. Hi, Lauren. Hi, Teddy. Hi, Monica.
Hi.
Awesome. We have Lior out here. Okay, Monica, you want to go ahead and get us kicked off?
Oh, wow. I was waiting for Lior. I'm sorry. I don't have those questions up. My bad. We're working with technology.
Absolutely.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry for the hiccup, but let me ask you the first question. We know the plan is to have 15 new locations in 5 years, and we think that's ambitious. What are the most vital resources you need in order to achieve that goal?
So I think kind of the main resource that we really need is first the communities that we're able to kind of have these makers and need knowers and work together to create these new products and help us towards our moonshot goal of 250 million. Of course, kind of the biggest resource after that is just space and money. Our big thing is that we create products that can go home with the person at the end of the weekend so that they can really use these in their life. And because of that, we also then need to source these materials and make sure that the makers have the materials and the items that they need. And then along with that, maker spaces and other design spaces so that they can actually build these products to a high standard. So I see those as kind of our biggest materials, which really, especially with the great ecosystem that college campuses give you with maker spaces already being there and this big student innovations, like basically pool of kids ready to innovate and make these things, I don't think those are the hardest things that we need to that should come by.
Absolutely. I would agree with that especially working with Hillel across the state of Georgia, we have this access already to a network of staff and students who are ready to do this work and create these communities. And it's a matter of being able to fund the materials to actually really drive Tom's core mission of delivering those take-home ready prototypes.
Nice. And I see Lior has joined us.
Yeah. Sorry for the technical challenges. Beautiful project. We'd love to hear, what does success look like in numbers if you get this grant? What kind of impact and what kind of participation do you think you can create?
Yeah, so I guess at the kind of small scale, the first stage of success is getting Tom into more communities within Georgia. So as Lauren mentioned, with our relationship with Hillel, we think we can get a lot more campuses in the state of Georgia that also have Hillels impacted with Tom and building these communities. And then kind of on a larger scale, getting us closer to those 250 million people affected. We started in 2014, Tom Global. Since then, we've had over 585 projects and over 130,000 projects actually delivered to people. And last year at Georgia Tech, we were going to have 8 maker teams working with 8 individuals in the Atlanta community to create products for them as well. So scale that up by 5 or 10 more universities per year for the next however many years we can keep this going, and you really start to see this exponential growth in the projects that we're able to create and the people that we're able to help.
I think we'll see that success in numbers of Jewish students across the state engaged as makers as well. Hillel currently serves 24 campuses and over 5,000 students statewide. So imagining how many of those universities, as well as Jewish students, that we could impact by involving them in this work too. Like Teddy said, scaling that up to 5 or 10 campuses over the next few years.
Beautiful.
How do you guys plan to increase the odds of the solutions getting commercialized or being used by more than the original need owner?
So the goal is actually that we're creating these products that really don't have that big of a commercial market, that are more specialized per person. The way that we kind of get this back access though is that every product, a big thing we stress during the Make-a-thon is documentation. So that at the end of the weekend, these people document their solutions, we upload them to the Tom Global site, which has all the projects that every Tom community across the world has done. And people there can go download those if they have similar challenges, all open source and accessible and low cost. One example is the PJ prosthesis, which is kind of one of the flagship Tom projects. It started in Israel. It actually went over to Singapore in another year to help a man there who needed a prosthesis to put on his pants to be independent to go to the bathroom, and then came back to Israel for another year to help a girl play violin who needed a special prosthesis. And I know that violin attachment on Tom Global's website has had over 100 downloads already. So it's really this open source online community is how we get these more downloads so that anyone with those needs can access them.
And on a more local scale, we can take advantage of our partnerships within the Atlanta community. We work with organizations like JF&CS, like Jewish Abilities Alliance, and have professional relationships with them so that we can direct them to the Tom website so that they can, show the communities that they serve, direct them to the Tom website as well as a source for potential solutions that could be useful to them as well.
It sounds like you guys have like a great word of mouth strategy intrinsically built into the project. Do you have any other additional activities that you use to follow up on these promotions and making sure that people around the world know about the solutions that you're providing?
Yeah, so there's a couple different avenues we've been exploring. At Georgia Tech, the community is still a little bit new. This is actually only our second year, but we know we've been in talks. We want to help with just the overall idea of human-centered design. So I know last year we were talking about just getting a panel of people and experts in the field to come talk. We were working with CTL, which is Camp Twin Lakes, a camp in Georgia that is for kids with disabilities to come, and kind of working with them during the summer and like the off Make-a-thon schedule to help with their camp and bolster that as well. So those are kind of the ones we've been working on locally. And then I think just globally as well, we have this entire Tom organization that if we do something at Georgia Tech, there's a fellowship program of all college campuses right now that are involved. Everyone else will hear about it, and then they can disseminate it within their own communities. So it's this large network that has a global reach from the US to Japan to Australia to Israel that really can all use their own resources to also push our projects out.
Very nice.
Fantastic work, Teddy and Lauren. Thank you so much. Thank you, Monica and Lior, for leading the conversation. We're going to pull you off the room for our next grantees. Let's give it up in the chat for Tikkun Olam makers.